Name an ongoing issue affecting students that the Berkeley City Council does not adequately address. If you support a student supermajority district, how would you help make progress on that issue?
That's a great question. I think one of the most important issues that are going on in the city, there's a variety of issues, but one of them is recently Berkeley City Council brought up an issue regarding second responsive noise violations, which is an issue which affects over 5,000 collective students in the green communities, the cooperative communities, and communities other student representation. So I think it's really, really important that we have student representation in the City Council to address this issue. The Berkeley City Council right now may have people who can advocate for students, but they don't know what it's like to take a walk in students' shoes, and they don't know what students are facing on a day-to-day basis, which is exactly why we need student representation. I also think that there have been a variety of issues in the last 5 years that are regarding to housing policy, rent policy, affordable living situations, and so many other things that are going on campus, economic development on Telegraph Avenue, that students need to have input in. So that's why I'm in favor of student supermajority district. I think that as 25% of the population in the city of Berkeley, it is completely unfair that we have 0 students on our city council. We were historically gerrymandered out of the city of Berkeley in 1985 in a policy that the Berkeley City Council enacted, which has actually been mentioned that it was to exclude students. That's why I'm in favor of student supermajority district. I've been working very passionately for the last 2 years to maintain a very consistent policy on how I will work to change that, and I will continue to extend this policy to change this way so that students are no longer inhibited from representation in the Berkeley City Council. I really, really think that we should get representation, and I will do my best to make sure that you and I have a voice at the table when it comes to addressing all of these different issues, so that not only can we live in a city that addresses our needs, but so that we can live in a place in which our concerns are heard by people who walk in our shoes, and in a place where our concerns are heard by people who are going to take, sorry, thank you.
Vice President with CalSERVE. I am in support of student districts. In fact, I was the only student at the City Council meeting on Tuesday to speak for students and urge the City Council to include students as a community of interest in the Charter Amendment. However, I believe that while it's important to have a student district, there are many nuances that the current EABP has not addressed. This process has been very rushed, and I have also been working on student redistricting, and I've worked with many different students and community members on this issue. I've engaged many students. I've engaged with the Berkeley Student Co-op on this issue. And we can't see this issue as the end-all be-all to our problems with the city. There are many different problems, and my office will promote a holistic view of what the city should look like. And we need to make the city accountable to our needs. As a current city commissioner, I've already seen the impact that students can make at the city level. And we need to make sure that we're in these spaces to make these decisions, to advocate for affordable housing, for things that are important to students, like accessible transportation, like campus safety. And my office will make real change for real students now.
I'm not really sure what external affairs are, or I'm not really sure how to be vice president of them, but I do know one thing. I know UC President Mark Udoff's private email password. If you vote for me, I'll tell you what it is. Does anyone want to guess? Guesses?
That's 1, 2, 3. More tuition.
Way more sexual. Oh, not right now.
So my name is Alisha and I'm running with the Affirmative Action Party. And I want to say that I definitely agree with the redistricting and having students on the city council. I think that is very important, but what is most important is that their voice is heard and that the people that do sit in City Council are for against budget cuts for the university, against the privatization of this university. There's students like me that run on financial aid from the state that if I don't have the state money, then I won't be here. And that's what's really important to me. And I want to be a part of ASUC because I want to be a part of that change. I want to make sure that things are getting done. Because when I was a student here, freshman or sophomore, I didn't hear anything about ASUC. I didn't hear nothing from them. I didn't know who they were. I didn't know what they were doing. And I want to be a part of that and do something about it and be a part of the ASUC and let people know who I am, what I'm doing, and how I'm doing it.
Ready to lead, ready to win, ready to lead, ready to win, ready to lead, ready to win, ready to lead, ready to win.
Hey y'all, once again I'm Isabel Sausjord, and I'm going to actually break the trend here by saying that I don't think having a student supermajority voting district for city council is my first priority or a huge priority at all. If the student issues that people have addressed so far as being issues that students would need to have a voice on in the Berkeley City Council are basically the only one that I've heard is affordable housing. And if we say that affordable housing is only a student issue and not an issue for all the other citizens of Berkeley, we're just artificially separating ourselves from other people and having a sort of, it's going against the ivory tower ideas. The idea of creating a student supermajority district also doesn't take into account that if we want a student representative, are they actually going to stay on the Berkeley City Council for the 4-year term if they're elected? Not if they leave when they graduate. Overall, I think that Berkeley is a great city and they're working with us already. I think what we really need to concentrate our efforts on is the state and again, fighting the privatization and fighting the fee increases to really make this university that's open to all of us and that we can really be proud and really belong to.
I don't believe any of you are referring to, I guess. Or something you said. Someone heard something you said. Okay. The order for the next question will be Sydney, Shahryar, Isabel, Fang, and Alisha. Do you support Jerry Brown's tax initiative? If so, how would you use your office to effectively advocate on behalf of students? And if not, what alternatives should the state seek to prevent further cuts to higher education? Yes. Do you support Jerry Brown's tax initiative? If so, how would you use your office to effectively advocate on behalf of student interests? If not, what alternatives should the state seek to prevent further cuts to higher education?
Hi everyone, again, my name is Sydney Fang. I'm running for EAVP with CalSERVE. And I support Governor Brown's tax initiative as one of the alternatives that we need to consider. We need to fund our education, we need to fund our university. And this is one of the ways to do it. I have been, this year as a current ATC Senator, I've worked with the California Student Aid Commission, and I've been endorsed by the Student Commissioner to fill this position. I've already worked with them to advocate for this tax initiative and to raise awareness of what it will do to financial aid and how it will affect students. And while it is one of the good alternatives, my office will make sure that we're advocating for many alternatives. And I've had a lot of amazing experiences this year, and I've been able to advocate for students. But my job as EAVP is to amplify students' voices at the local, state, and national level. My office will make sure that we continue to lobby. We have sustained relationships in Sacramento, in DC, with the California Student Aid Commission, so that our voices are heard. my office will empower students, and we will make sure that students can amplify their voices, not just in Sacramento, but at the ballot box as well. We will register 12,000 students in 2012. As your DAAP, I will make sure that your voices are heard and our issues are fought for.
While I am in support of Mr. Brown's tax initiative, I'm also more in support actually of the millionaire's tax initiative. I think that is a more comprehensive plan and solution to addressing the structural problems that we're facing in terms of generating revenues to address higher education in California. I have a few plans to actually increase advocacy, hopefully, if I'm elected for External Affairs Vice President. First of all, I too will register thousands of students, so the goal will be 10 to 15,000 students, and the way that will be done is we are going to do something that for the first time in the history of the ASUC is we're going to have dorm storming. The current DAAP has basically signed a contract with the university and RSSP to allow for registration in dorms. So we are going to register thousands of students to vote in dorms come August, the minute that I am elected. Secondly, we are going to work with the Greek community, the cooperative community, and other communities that we can register many more thousands of students to vote. Right now, it's not that students are super apathetic about voting, it's that they don't have the capacity to do so because they are not registered to vote. So I will ensure to make sure we fix that problem. Another thing I will do to increase advocacy at the state level is I will try to formalize a student political action committee. Right now, the current student union is working on forming a political action committee at the state level. I will work with him to increase representation for over 200,000 UC students throughout the system, but also formalize that on a campus level. That will give us a collective voice, just like the AARP and the prison lobby and other interest groups, so we can actually channel and funnel our concerns to Sacramento. Finally, I will advocate when these students are registered to vote to ensure that they actually do vote for the millionaire's tax. If that one doesn't go through, then Mr. Brown's sales tax initiative, and finally, push the middle class scholarship plan as well. Thank you.
Governor Brown's tax initiative because it's actually a very regressive tax that has a half-cent sales tax, which gets the majority of its funding from the poorest people and the masses of people instead of actually taxing the millionaires, like the millionaire's tax. Although their governor and CFT did make a compromise tax measure, this tax measure is partially regressive with a sales tax and also a tax on people who are millionaires. And so I would be in support of the millionaire's tax first and the compromise measure second. And with regards to registering students to vote and getting students out there, I think that the most important thing is that if people are going to be voting, we need to be educated, we need to be discussing the issues, not just giving people a piece of paper, signing them up, and then them never caring or never getting educated on the issues. So what we really have to do is start advocating why people should vote, why they should care, and it's things like the millionaire's tax and other issues that affect students. And once they get interested in why they should vote and get really understanding the propositions and all the people who are running, then we can get people interested, then we can get people signed up, and then we can get people registered to vote, and then they'll want to vote because they'll have an incentive. With regards to further advocacy, I think we really need to not just work sort of in a cynical political level with legislators, but actually unionize students across the state. Students in Southern California recently had an event where representatives from 14 schools got together and called for a statewide union of education, which is a way we can really work and advocate and create grassroots mobilization all across the state for a fight for education. Thank you.
Mark Udoff writes a lot of emails to old high school girlfriends. I'm going to read you one. It's all lowercase. March 15th, 1:30 a.m. To Cindy O'Neill. Hi, Cindy. It's me, Mark. Remember me, Mark the Shark, from Hampton High? Remember homecoming? I don't know, I just kept thinking about those times. This is probably stupid, but if you ever want to get a drink or something, or talk about those old days, you have my address. Hope you're well, Mark.
So I want to say that I agree with Isabel and that I'm against the Jerry Brown's tax initiatives, and I'm more so for the millionaire's tax. Compromise tax. And everyone makes mistakes, guys. And I want to say that, yes, it's very important to get people registered to vote, but it's also extremely important to let the students know what they will be voting for. If you don't know what you're going to vote for, no one's going to register. If you don't register, then you don't vote. And the importance of voting is very important. Not only should people register to vote, but what people have to understand is that mobilizing and starting the movement and coming together as a state to inform people of our concerns and of all the things that are going on, including budget cuts and things that are going on against our public education, is really, really important. So.
All right, thank you all.